Yo, good evening, USA, Canada, International, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging with the Sports Edition show of episode 43 of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube, alongside of the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you can be in the know on when each episode is going to be dropping and when I'm going to be on Instagram live recording each podcast episode on a weekly basis. So, without further ado, if you missed any previous episodes whatsoever, don't worry, I got your back. I'll fill you in on where you can listen to the episodes. So, starting with YouTube, go ahead and grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, and tap the noni bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air via live stream. Plus, be sure to um be sure to leave a like and a comment along with the episodes, the sports episode topics, and of course, more of your content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. In case you miss any of the episodes, don't worry. Everything's already uploaded to the YouTube channel page, so you can catch up. And before you even get to the new episodes whatsoever. So, don't forget to tell a friend to another friend. Don't forget to listen, stream. Don't forget to stream, watch the episodes, download the episodes, share the episodes, share the videos, and of course, spread the word to everybody. And I'll fill you in on where you can listen to the episodes. So, in the meantime, you can make a charitable donation to my Cash App to support the shows that I do, including the sports podcast, the review show, and my New York podcast that I am already on right now. So, the Cash App is $ G Money Stacks 555. That's $ capital G lowercase MONEY, capital S lowercase TACKZ 555. Now, once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can as a human being on whatever amount of money you decide to donate and are comfortable with that you desire will be appreciated. And also, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Podchaser alongside with Podfriend, Apple Podcasts, along with Spotify. 5-star rating will be appreciated. All right. Now, without further ado, let's get to the quick side bleacher bar as our trending segment right here of the sports topics right here. So here it is right here. Here it is. Yes, so unfortunately we got some sad news in the sports world whatsoever. Let me just fill you in on who passed. All right, so Celtics legend and Breakfast Hall of Famer Bill Russell died Sunday at the age of 88, his family announced. From Russell's Twitter account, in quote, "It is with a very heavy heart, we would like to pass along to all of Bill's friends, fans, and followers. Bill Russell, the most prolific winner in American sports history, passed away peacefully today at age 88, with his wife Janine by his side. Arrangements for his memorial service will be announced soon. Bill's two state championships in high school offered a glimmer of the incomparable run of pure team accomplishment to come. Twice in NCAA champion, captain of a gold medal winning U.S. Olympic team, 11 times in NBA champion, and at the helm for two NBA championships as the first black head coach of any North American professional sports team. Along the way, Bill earned a string of individual awards that stands unprecedented as it went unmentioned by him. In 2009, the award for the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player was named after two-time Hall of Famer as the Bill Russell NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award. But for all the winning, Bill's understanding of the struggle is what illuminated his life. From boycotting a 1961 exhibition game to unmask too long tolerated discrimination to leading Mississippi's first integrated basketball camp in the combustible wake of Medgar Evers' assassination, 2 decades of activism ultimately recognized by his receipt of the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2010. Bill called out injustice with an unforgiving candor that he intended would disrupt the status quo, and with a powerful example that, though never his humble intention, will forever inspire teamwork, selflessness, and thoughtful change. Bill's wife, Janine, and his many friends and family thank you for keeping Bill in your prayers. Perhaps you'll relive one or two of the golden moments he gave us, or recall his trademark laugh as he delighted in explaining the real story behind how those moments unfolded. And we hope each of us can find a new way to act or speak up with Bill's uncompromising, dignified, and always constructive commitment to principle. That would be one last and lasting win for our beloved number six. Okay, so Bill Russell, the NBA great who anchored a Boston Celtics dynasty that won 11 championships in 13 years, the last two as the first black head coach in any major U.S. sport, and marched for civil rights when Martin Luther King Jr. died Sunday. He was 88. His family posted the news on social media saying Russell died with his wife, Janine, by his side. The statement did not give the cause of death, but Russell was not well enough to present the NBA Finals MVP trophy in June due to a long illness. Bill's wife, Janine, and his many friends and family thank you for keeping Bill in your prayers. Perhaps you'll relive one or two of the golden moments he gave us, or recall his trademark laugh as he delighted in explaining the real story behind how those moments unfolded. The family statement said, and we hope each of us can find a new way to act or speak up with Bill's uncompromising, dignified, and always constructive commitment to principle. That would be one last and lasting win for our beloved number six. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said in a statement that Russell was the greatest champion in all of team sports. Bill stood for something much bigger than sports. The values of equality, respect, and inclusion that he stamped into the DNA of our league. At the height of his athletic career, Bill advocated vigorously for civil rights and social justice, a legacy he passed down to generations of NBA players who followed in his footsteps, Silver said. Through the taunts, threats, and unthinkable adversity. Bill rose above it all and remained true to his belief that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. A Hall of Famer, 5-time most valuable player, and 12-time All-Star, Russell in 1980 was voted the greatest player in the NBA history by basketball writers. He remained the sport's most prolific winner as a player and an archetype of selflessness who won with defense and rebounding while leaving the score to others. Often that meant Wilt Chamberlain, the only player of the era who was a worthy rival for Russell. Hmm. But Russell dominated in the only stat he cared about 11 championships to two. The native of Louisiana also left a lasting mark as a black athlete in a city and country where race is often a flashpoint. He was at the March on Washington in 1963 when King gave his "I Have a Dream" speech, and he backed Muhammad Ali when the boxer was pillared for refusing induction into the military draft. To be the greatest champion in your sport, to revolutionize the way the game is played, and to be a societal leader all at once seems unthinkable. But that is who Bill Russell was, the Boston Celtics said in a statement. In 2011, President Barack Obama awarded Russell the Medal of Freedom alongside Congressman John Lewis, billionaire investor Warren Buffett, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and baseball great Stan Musial. Bill Russell, the man, is someone who stood up for the rights and dignity of all men. Obama said at the ceremony, he marched with King, he stood by Ali. When a restaurant refused to serve the Black Celtics, he refused to play in the scheduled game. He endured insults and vandalism, but he kept on focusing on making the teammates who he loved better players and made possible the success of so many who would follow. Russell said that when he was growing up in the segregated South and later California, his parents instilled in him the calm confidence that allowed him to brush off racist taunts. That can't be easy. That can't be easy. Years later, people asked me what I had to go through, Russell said in 2008. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I've never been through anything. From my first moment of being alive was the notion that my mother and father loved me. It was Russell's mother who would tell him to disregard comments from those who might see him playing in the yard. Whatever they say, good or bad, don't know you, he recalled her saying. They are wrestling with their own demons. But it was Jackie Robinson who gave Russell a roadmap for dealing with racism in his sport. Jackie was a hero to us. He always conducted himself as a man. He showed me the way to be a man in professional sports. The feeling was mutual. Russell learned when Robinson's widow, Rachel, called and asked him to be a pallbearer at her husband's funeral in 1972. She hung the phone up and I asked myself, how do you get to be a hero to Jackie Robinson? Russell said. I was so flattered. William Felton Russell was born on February 12th, 1934, in Monroe, Louisiana. He was a child when his family moved to the West Coast and he went to high school in Oakland, California, and then the University of San Francisco. He led the Dons to NCAA championships in 1955 and 1956 and won a gold medal in 1956 at the Melbourne Olympics in Australia. Celtics coach and general manager um Red Auerbach Auer Auerbach. Yes, Auerbach. So coveted Russell that he worked out a trade with the St. Louis Hawks for the second pick in the draft. He promised the Rochester Royals, who owned the number one pick, a lucrative visit by the Ice Capades, which were also run by the Celtics owner Walter Brown. Still, Russell arrived in Boston to complaints that he wasn't that good. People said it was a wasted draft choice, wasted money. He recalled. They said he's no good. All he can do is block shots and rebound, and Red said that's enough. The Celtics also picked up Tommy Heinsohn and Casey Jones, Russell's college teammate, in the same draft. Also, Russell joined the team late because he was leading the U.S. to the Olympic gold. Boston finished the regular season with the league's best record. The Celtics won the NBA championship, their first of 17 in the double overtime seventh game against Bob Petit's St. Louis Hawks. Russell won his first MVP award the next season, but the Hawks won the title in the finals rematch. The Celtics won it all again in 1959, starting an unprecedented string of eight consecutive NBA crowns. A 6'10" center, Russell never averaged more than 18.9 points during his 13 seasons. Each year, averaging more rebounds per game than points. For 10 seasons, he averaged more than 20 rebounds. He once had 51 rebounds in a game. Chamberlain holds the record with 55. Auerbach retired after winning the 1966 title, and Russell became the player coach, the first black head coach in NBA history, and almost a decade before Frank Robinson took over baseball's Cleveland Indians, who are now called the Guardians. Shit. Boston finished with the second best regular season record in the NBA, and its title streak ended with a loss to Chamberlain and the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Division Finals. Russell led the Celtics back to titles in 1968 and 69, each time winning seven-game playoff series against Chamberlain. Russell retired after the 69 finals, returning for a relative successful but unfulfilling 4-year stint as coach and GM of the Seattle Supersonics, and a less fruitful half season as coach of the Sacramento Kings. Russell's number 6 jersey was retired by the Celtics in 1972. He earned spots on the NBA's 25th anniversary all-time team in 1970, 35th anniversary team in 1980, and 75th anniversary team. In 1996, he was hailed as one of the NBA's 50 greatest players. In 2009, the MVP trophy of the NBA Finals was named in his honor, even though Russell never won himself, because it wasn't awarded for the first time until 1969. Russell, however, traditionally presented the trophy for many years, the last time in 2019 to Kawhi Leonard. Russell was not there in 2020 because of the NBA bubble, nor in 2021 due to the COVID-19 concerns. In 2013, a statue was unveiled on Boston City's City Hall Plaza of Russell, surrounded by blocks of granite with quotes on leadership and character. Russell was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1975, but did not attend the ceremony, saying he should not have been the first African American elected. Ha. In 2019, Russell accepted his Hall of Fame ring in a private gathering. I felt others before me should have had that honor, he tweeted. Good to see progress. Silver said he often called Russell basketball's Babe Ruth for how he transcended time. Bill was the ultimate winner and consummate teammate, and his influence on the NBA will be felt forever, Silver added. We send our deepest condolences to his wife, Janine, his family, and his many friends. His family said that arrangements for Russell's memorial service will be announced in the coming days. So, yes, so SIP, Sleep in Power, Rest in Paradise to Bill Russell. All right, so all right, we got two Magic Johnson stories to get to. Um, all right, so this is from NPR, so let's get to it. Um, on this week's episode of The Limits, Jay speaks with the legendary Irv, Irv, Irvin Magic Johnson, often called the greatest point guard in NBA history. Magic earned five titles over the course of 13 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers and changed the nature of the game too. But before he was Magic, he was just Irvin, a kid from East Lansing, Michigan. He carved out a name for himself on and off the court. He learned how to navigate his public and private personas, but Magic's private life became very public in 1991. That's when he was diagnosed with HIV. He immediately retired from the game he loved, but he didn't back down. He became an outspoken advocate and entrepreneur. Magic spoke with Jay about everything from his past rivalry with Larry Bird, how he turned his devastating HIV diagnosis into an opportunity to educate the public, and the importance of his investments in Black and Brown communities. Ultimately, behind all his success is a man who loves to spend time with his family. So, on the difference between his two personas, Magic and Irvin, Magic Magic will tell will Magic will tear your head off. Listen, you are trying to get something I want. I may be smiling, but you try to play cards and checkers and basketball and on and on. I'm a competitive, crazy guy. I love to win. That's Magic all day long. Irvin is completely different. Magic loved the spotlight and loved people and the whole thing. Irvin loved to get away from that. On the work ethic he learned from his father. He said, "Listen, son, if you do this job halfway, everything everything in life you gonna do halfway. You gonna study halfway. You're gonna practice basketball halfway," he said. "I want you to go get that shovel, break up that ice, and get that trash out of that ice and put it on the truck like you're supposed to do." That's when my life changed. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a workaholic. I love what I do. Let's see who else came in. This is shouts to pick six with Noah and Nick on the podcast. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Um, we're just covering some stuff here. So, if you have any comments on the sports topics that's going to be discussed in this episode, please feel free to jump into the comments on the Instagram live feed of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. That's what TLKS stands for. Talks, nothing else. And let's see. So, um, yes. So on his leadership and legacy in basketball, um, I think my legacy is defined by winning. I've won at every level, and I didn't care about points. I just tried to put my teammates in a position where they could be successful, and I understood what I had to do to win. So when I first walked into the Lakers, I already knew Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon, and Kareem um, Abdul Jabbar were the scorers. So I said, hey, let me just feed them the basketball, do my thing, and I'm good. So when the circle came out, like Magic can't score. Larry Bird is averaging 25, 27 in his rookie year, and I'm only averaging 17, and he dominated me for Rookie of the Year. I was so upset, Jay, because I said I could do that, but that's not my role here because it won't put us in a position to win if I try to do that. On telling his wife Cookie about his HIV diagnosis, it drove me absolutely crazy going home from the doctor's office to our home. To tell her that I have HIV was the hardest thing I ever had to do, not knowing what she was gonna do. Her reaction, and sure enough, I got home and told her, I said, I can understand if you want to leave, I get it. And man, she hit me so hard upside my head. And she said, you know what? We're going to beat this together. And that's when I knew I was going to be here for a long time. Because if she had left, I would I probably wouldn't be sitting here in this interview right now. So, of course, you can follow Jay on his Instagram and Twitter and all the other stuff. The Limits is produced by Devon Schwartz, Max Freeman, Deba Motasham, and Lena Sands Jury. Executive producers are Karen Kenny, Vera Lynn Williams, and Yolanda Sangwenny. A senior vice president of programming and audience development, and Anya Grunman. Music by Ranton Arab Arab Louis, um, and you know the rest. Of course, you could check them out. I forget where they do this, but you can actually check out the NPR YouTube channel page. You can go ahead and check it out. Make sure you subscribe to there as well. And other Magic Johnson news. let's see. Let's see. So there are a few moments on Twitter better than a Magic Johnson reaction tweet. Win or lose, Los Angeles Lakers fans can anticipate a tweet from Magic full of his thoughts on the team. He had been quiet early on, but he finally came alive Thursday with a pair of tweets after the Lakers 0-4 start. After his sudden departure as president of basketball operations in 2019, the former Laker great has stayed tied to the franchise. It was reported last season that Jeannie Buss still leaned on Johnson for insight on decisions. She confirmed the report last summer, citing the trust between the two. Johnson often doesn't hide his assessment of the Lakers, however good or bad. He praised the offseason moves by the Lakers, highlighting how the team has become younger and more authentic. No, excuse me, athletic. Now, though, he's not hiding his true feelings about the Lakers' slow start. And he said on Twitter, I'm agonizing over the Lakers' play, the lack of shooting, and the 0-4 record. If my Lakers don't start shooting better, this could be a long season for us Lakers fans. On the flip side, Coach Ham has done a really good job on the defensive end. We are playing with intensity and are a much more athletic team. An often positive person, Magic made sure to add something on the bright side. He was a big fan of head coach Darvin Ham's initial press conference, and it seems his love for the coach hasn't faded away. But like much, but like much of the Lakers now, only negative can be associated with their play. And Johnson isn't one to shy away from handing out criticism. He points out to the Lakers' horrid 3-point shooting through 4 games. LA is shooting 22.3% from beyond the arc, easily the worst in the league. The team directly ahead of the Lakers. The Orlando Magic, who are shooting 29.9% a game from 3. Um, the last team to shoot below 30% from three in a season was the 2011 to 12 Charlotte Bobcats, who won just 7 games. Teams will continue to clog the paint until the Lakers prove they can knock down threes. Shots falling will create a different offense for opposing teams to deal with if they don't fall. Well, Magic's take is right that it might be a long season for the Lakers. Of course, Magic gives advice to Westbrook. It's no secret that the great Lakers point guard came under scrutiny through his career, especially early on. Opposing fans nick, nicknamed him Tragic Johnson for his collapse in the 1984 NBA Finals. The moment, though, became a turning point in his Hall of Fame career. Now, Magic is offering advice for Westbrook, whose struggles continue even amid a new season and head coach. Johnson emphasized the guard has to take accountability for his struggles instead of hiding away from them in press conferences. So yeah, I don't know, man. there's also um there's also a poll that says so so 51.6% responded with no, and 48.4% basically said yes. So that's just yeah. Unfortunately, that's gonna be well, I hope the Lakers could turn things around and stuff. So we'll see. Let's see. let me see. What else can we talk about? If I didn't miss anything. Yes, let's go to Lewis Hamilton. Let's go to Lewis Hamilton. Um, all right, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, wait. I don't usually well, hold on. All right, so hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on a minute here. Hmm. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Um. Okay, so Lewis Hamilton failed to secure a win all season as Mercedes struggled to match the pace of Red Bull and Ferrari. Um. Yeah. Um. Let's see. Lewis Hamilton has claimed suffering back pain at the Grand Prix. Um, at the Grand Prix was his biggest memory from the 2022 F1 season. The seven-time champion selected an image of him grasping his lower back after the race as one of his only memories from a difficult campaign. Hamilton struggled to get out his car after the the checkered flag in Baku because of Mercedes' extreme poor poison poor poisoning. Wow. Wow. Oh man. Moments after undoing his seatbelts, Hamilton was seen grabbing his back before sitting down on his cockpit in invisible pain. Hamilton made the admission in a season review video for Mercedes YouTube channel where he and George Russell selected the best moments of the season. Reflecting on the incident, he said, I don't actually remember a lot these photos. This one I remember. This one is the one I remember the most just because of the pain I was in. That weekend I went lower than um Russell on the rear ride height. It was much worse on my car, but painful for both of us. Wow. Yeah. So Russell backed up Hamilton, stressing he was also suffering from similar issues early on in 2022. He added, the car was so difficult to drive, especially at the start of the year with the bouncing. It wasn't where we wanted it to be. After the race, Hamilton admitted he was biting down on his teeth in agony and stressed he was praying for the race to finish. Mercedes has struggled with porpoising at other races in 2022, but the issue worsened for the team. Hamilton explained, I was just holding and biting down on my teeth due to the pain, and the adrenaline helped. I cannot express the pain that you experienced, particularly on the straight here. At the end, you are just praying for it to end. Um, let's see. Okay, the Brinton later claimed he would have failed to meet the FIA's 10-second extraction test due to the extreme pain. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff had raised fears that Hamilton could be out of action in Canada due to the scale of his injury. Hamilton did not Hamilton did compete in the next race weekend, but his pain was used to push for major changes to the regulations. The FIA relented a week later, introducing a minimum ride height for all cars from the Belgian Grand Prix. However, Red Bull boss Christian Horner hinted that Hamilton was putting it on to force rules changes. When asked what he would do if he was in Mercedes' shoes, Horner replied, Tell them to tell them to bitch as much as they could over the radio and make it as big an issue out of it as they possibly could. Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's really crazy though. But that's really crazy though, man. Unfortunately. Um yeah, anyway, so all right, we're gonna get into a little thing. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. Um all right, just give me a moment. Just bear with me, folks. Um, all right. Okay, we're gonna get into some Met stuff right here. Um, all right, so we need to talk about the whole situation with Jacob DeGrom no longer. In case nobody didn't know, Jacob DeGrom is no longer a Met, so we're gonna get into how. Hold on a second. We're gonna get into it. Let's see. We'll get into it though. Um, which is crazy. Let's see. Brooklyn. Oh, wait. Um, Yes. So Jacob DeGrom did a press conference. So check this out. So file this under, and this is from amny.com, the website that I'm using. File this under one of the weirder sites in sports. Jacob DeGrom sitting in a Texas Rangers jersey and cap at the introductory press conference on Thursday afternoon. The two-time Cy Young Award winner who spent his first 8 professional seasons with the Mets, becoming one of the best pitchers of this generation, inked a 5-year, $185 million deal last week to end his Queens tenure in free agency. That's not and he said in quote, that's not an easy decision. DeGrom said on Thursday. I've spent the first 8+ years with the New York Mets. I have to thank them for that. They'll always hold a special place in my heart, my wife's heart, my kids. From ownership to my teammates there and the fans, ultimately they made me feel welcome there. They played a big role in my career. There will always be a special place in my heart for the New York Mets and their fans. Per reports, DeGrom didn't give the Mets much of a chance to make their best and final offer to potentially retain him. Granted, it would have been unlikely for a team that has other aspects to address to maintain a one-on-one win pace from last season to offer that many years to the 34-year-old with recent injury issues. It's just part of the business of baseball, DeGrom said. Seeing what Rangers GM Chris Young and manager Bruce Bochy were building, it was something I wanted to be a part of. Down in Texas, DeGrom will be the poster child of a team that has never won a World Series and is trying to expedite a rebuild that hasn't included a postseason appearance in 6 years. But after spending nearly $500 million last year on Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, DeGrom sees the promise in Arlington. Going through the process, you set up meetings with teams, and whenever I found out the Rangers were one of those teams, I was really excited. Getting on a call with Young and Bocce and hearing the vision of what the Rangers want to do, and ultimately the vision here of bringing a World Series here, that's the goal. Winning a World Series, these guys all had that same vision, and it lined up with what I wanted to do. They showed a ton of interest right at the start, and the feeling was mutual. Let's see what Appler has to say. Okay, Billy Epler. So Billy Epler's final reaction to Jacob DeGrom's departure last week was to send him a congratulatory text. He made a decision that made sense for him and his family, and I wished him well. The Mets general manager said Monday at the winter meetings. Told him I will miss seeing you on a regular basis, but that was it, and congratulations. Epler declined to provide specifics about his offer to DeGrom and whether he was disappointed the right-hander didn't give the Mets an opportunity for a final proposal. DeGrom received a 5-year deal from Texas worth $185 million. The contract includes a 6-year vesting option that could increase the overall value to $222 million. Um, I am not going to get into any details on Jacob's situation, Epler said. We talked a number of times. We talked every single day leading into the week. But beyond that, I am not going to disclose any details. He's a great pitcher, and he gave Met fans a lot of good memories. We wish him the best and happy he was able to make a decision that he felt was best for him and his family. We will miss him. Justin Verlander's deal with the Mets is still not official, so Epler wouldn't discuss the team's decision to add the 39-year-old ace on a 2-year contract worth $86.6 million. Epler was asked if, yeah, Epler was asked if the Mets had the capacity to pay two pitchers, Max Scherzer is the other, upward of $40 million annually and still address other deficiencies. You just have to get creative in other areas and be open to doing things in the trade market if they present themselves, Epler said. And you just try to see where some value can present itself. Of course, obviously, Brandon Nimmo is meeting with teams this week. Epler was asked where things stand with the free agent outfielder. There is still dialogue with Nimmo, he said. Rangers manager Bruce Bochy spoke with DeGrom before Thanksgiving on a Zoom call and was impressed with the message. We're gonna get into Brendan Nimmo in a future episode, actually. In a future episode, so we'll cover that. I think what I got from him is how really committed he was to playing on a winner. Bochy said he liked the fact that we were in the process of building a winning culture in Texas. A very humble man. He just wants to pitch, and a guy who that also wants to be a good teammate, who was excited to listen to what we had to offer him. On his podcast, Flipping Bats, Ben Verlander said his older brother Justin was given assurances the Mets aren't finished with their off-season work. This isn't the end for the Mets, and Justin was told as much. Ben Verlander said, "This isn't the end, and yes, there is a very good core there, and the roster on paper is good. This team, as it sits right now, would be a winning team, but this team we see right now, this roster we see, would not be the same team we see on opening day. I truly believe that, and I know that it's going to be the case, and Justin is just so pumped up." Okay, let's see what we have. Another topic to talk about. Let me see. Just see. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. There is, hold on a minute. There was something else that I wanted to talk about too. Hold on a minute. It was something else. Something much else. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Wait. What's obviously, damn. Yeah, hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. Something much else. So, NFL season? No. Wanted to talk about the NFL app, actually. That's what I wanted to talk about. Hold on a a second. Okay. All right, NFL app. Okay. So let me see. Of course, let me just say, so this is the NFL app right here. And this, damn, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. NFL app. Oh, this is the end. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. No, that's not what I want to do. Oh Lord. Yeah, forgive me, folks. I was trying to look for some information about the NFL. Okay, so it was like an NFL app, phone app, actually. Damn. Well, um, 3 days. Wow. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, all right. Let's see. Um, yeah. Why do we even? Jeez. Um. Sorry about that. Okay, free NFL app. Okay, here it is. So the NFL app. Um, oh, NFL Plus app. Okay. Okay. All right. So, the days of streaming your local NFL teams games for free on your mobile app. Wait, hold on. No. This is crazy. NFL on your app store. So let me just all right. All right. The NFL app. Let's get into it. So what's new? Damn. The NFL app. It's okay. The NFL mobile app is the perfect app for football fans. With up-to-date information about your favorite team, you can always have access to the latest news in the football world. Of course, Verizon Wireless fans also have access to paid features like live streams. Okay, so this is for not only this is not only for so this is also for Android as well, not just iPhones. So made for football fans, of course. There's so much information in NFL Mobile that any football fan will not be disappointed. After selecting your favorite team, you can also follow all their stats over the course of the season. Combine that with new streams, fantasy football leagues, and scores of games. There's not much missing from the app. Verizon Wireless customers can pay to unlock premium features like live games on NFL Network and NBC Sunday Night Football. This is great for the extreme football fan who wants to be able to watch football games anywhere. That's combined with Verizon. While the general information of the app, like favorite teams and news, is helpful, the exclusive Verizon features are best for the connected football fan. Even though these features cost money, it won't mean much to the pure football fan who keeps track of information for their favorite team or needs to watch updates for each team. While some sports apps connect to general content, NFL Mobile really opens the door to all the information about what's happening during the football season. Um, Selecting your favorite team to keep track of them all season is excellent, and premium features will keep fans happy if they are willing to pay. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it, though, man. You know what I mean? I highly doubt that. Let's see. That's what I wanted to talk about. Um, okay, so we have some predictions for the 2022 to 23 MLB free agents with off season approaching. Well, let's see. Of course, obviously, for MLB fans of teams that have fallen out of the postseason race, the focus has already turned to the rapidly approaching offseason and what promises to be another exciting free agency circus. Headlined by Aaron Judge and Trey Turner. As the regular season winds to a close and before the playoffs begin. All right. Well, this is a little recap actually. It's time for another quick round of free agency predictions for the offseason ahead. It's a mix of projected landing spots, contract estimates, opt out decisions, and even an international target to know. And of course, obviously, we talked about okay. So obviously, so opt out. Of course, obviously, expect to see Xander Bogarts, Carlos Correa, Jacob DeGrom, Carlos Rondon, and Justin Verlander all exercise their opt out clauses or decline their player option to become part of the 2022 to 23 free agent class. From that group, only Bogarts on 4 years, $80 million, and Correa 2 years, $70.2 million. Are leaving multiple years worth of guaranteed money on the table. Verlander has a $25 million player option for 2023, while Rodon has a $22.5 million salary with an opt out that vested when he reached 110 innings pitched. The most complicated situation is DeGrom's, as he has a $30.5 million player option for 2023 and a $32.5 million club option for 2024. While there were some questions as to how his market would look given his recent injury issues, those have been answered with his fantastic return. Digging a bit deeper, Mets star Tijuan Walker, $6 million, also looks like a good bet to decline his player option and test the market. Of course, opt in. So who does that leave to decide against opting out? The big one is Nolan Arenado, who did not exercise his opt out a year ago, but has another one this winter. He is owed $144 million over the final 5 years of his contract. And with no indication that he is anything but happy in St. Louis, a rework deal seems more likely than a straight opt out. Boston Red Sox ace Chris Sale is also a lock to opt into the final 3 years and $75 million on his deal given his recent injury woes. According to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, the Chicago Cubs and Philadelphia Phillies are both expected to walk away with one of the market's top free agent shortstops this winter. The Phillies can decline a $17 million club option on Gene Segura and shift Bryson Stott to second base to clear a path, while slick fielding Nico Horner can easily move to the other side of second base to accommodate a major shortstop signing. With all due respect to Xander Bogaerts and Carlos Correa, who are both elite level players, Trey Turner is the best shortstop on the market this winter with contract ability. Of course, 304 BA, 18.0 K percent power, 125 OPS plus 38 two doubles, 20 homers, speed 25, 93, and defense in the midst of a 4.8 WAR season. Okay, the 29-year-old might not be able to match the 10-year deal that a 27-year-old Corey Seager landed last winter, but he could make a run at becoming the next $300 million player with an double AV exceeding the $35.1 million figure that Correa secured last offseason, especially if the Cubs and Phillies both pencil him into the number one spot on their wish list. Rafael Montero has been a revelation in the Houston Astros bullpen this season, posting a 2.34 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and 9.6 K/9, while tallying 13 saves and 20 holds in 64 appearances. Once a top prospect in the New York Mets farm system, he reinvented himself as a reliever after flaming out as a starter. But after struggling to a 6.39 ERA in 44 appearances last season, his MLB future was cloudy at best. His 96.4 miles per hour fastball velocity is a career high, and he has generated a 34.7% whiff rate with the pitch. For analytically driven teams, he also has some of the best batted ball data of any pitcher in baseball this year. There regularly seems to be pitchers who land a contract well beyond expectations. John Gray, $56 million with the Texas Rangers last year. Drew Jim Pomeranz, $34 million with the San Diego Padres a few years ago. Tyler Chatwood, actually, hold on, 4-year, $56 million, 4-year, $34 million, and 3-year, $38 million with the Chicago Cubs during the 2017 and 18 offseason. Don't be surprised if Montero lands a deal well beyond any first blush expectations this winter. And Japanese league star Kodai Senga shakes up the pitching market. It will likely still be a few plays before we see budding Japanese league superstars Roki Sasaki, who's age 20 years old, and Mune Taka Murakami, also 22 years old, as potential options to make their way stateside. But there is at least one star poised to make the jump from Japan. Of course, right-hander Kadai Senga has been one of Japan's top pitchers for the better part of the decade, going 103 to 51 with a 2.3 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, and 1,472 strikeouts in 1,327.2 innings with the soft bank Hawks. This season, the 29-year-old has gone 10 and 6 with a 2.00 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and 145 strikeouts and in 135 innings. He has an opt-out in his current contract with the Hawks following the 2022 season, and John Morosi of MLB Network reported in August that he is expected to exercise that opt-out to explore MLB opportunities. With a plus fastball and lethal splitter, he has a chance to shake up the pitching market this winter if he opts out, as expected. Atlanta Braves extend Dansby Swanson before he hits the open market. Okay. John Heyman of the New York Post reported in mid-August that the Atlanta Braves have opened extension talks with shortstop Dansby Swanson. The 28-year-old is enjoying the best season of his career, hitting 280, 335, 443 for a 115 OPS plus, with 30 doubles, 20 home runs, 88 RBIs, 93 runs scored, and 17 steals in a 4.9 WAR season that has nearly eclipsed the past 3 years combined. Rookie Vaughn Grissom played primarily shortstop in the minors, and he's currently keeping second base warm for Ozzie Albies. However, most expected him to move off of shortstop in the majors, and his long-term home could be in left field with Austin Riley and Matt Olson locked in at the corners. With that in mind, there is not an immediate in-house replacement for Swanson at shortstop if he were to depart. The 6-year, $140 million deals that Trevor Story and Avi Baez signed last winter are a reasonable starting point in negotiations. However, both of those players had a longer track record to success. So something closer to 6 years and 100 to $120 million might be agreeable to both sides. Similar to when the San Francisco Giants locked up Hunter Pence in late September 2013 before he had a chance to hit the open market, expect the Braves and Swanson to hammer out a new deal before free agency starts. Of course, Edwin Diaz, 5-year, $86 million deal that Aroldis Chapman signed with the New York Yankees prior to the 2017 season still stands as the largest contract ever given to a relief pitcher, but not for much longer. Edwin Diaz figures to eclipse that mark this offseason on the heels of a truly dominant 2022 campaign, and given his age, the track record of success, a $100 million deal is very much in the realm of possibility. 28-year-old has a 1.40 ERA, 0.87 WHIP, and 17.1 K out of 9 with 31 saves. in 34 chances this year, and he has struck out an absurd 107 of the 218 batters he has faced, thanks to his lethal fastball slider combination. With 204 career saves and a rock solid 2.96 ERA and 14.8 K out of 9 in 400 appearances, the reputation stuff and recent performance are all in place for him to become baseball's first $100 million bullpen arm. Will it be the Mets who cut the check? We'll see what happens in the future. Remains to be seen. Of course, Aaron Judge turned down a 7-year, $213.5 million extension offer just before opening day, and now the question is not whether he will match the offer, but just how far beyond it his asking price will climb. The 30-year-old is putting together one of the greatest contract years in MLB history as he looks to etch his name in the New York Yankees single season record books while leading the majors in a number of offensive categories. After playing 148 games last season, he has been healthy once again this year, and that will have as big of an impact as anything on his bargaining power after he played in just 63% of the team's games during the 3-year stretch from 2018 through 2020. Those injury concerns could keep offers from going any higher than the 7 years that the Yankees initially offered, but the annual value of the deal is going to climb considerably thanks to his MVP caliber performance. A 7-year, $280 million deal would make him just the second player in MLB history with an double AV of $40 million, joining Max Scherzer, whose deal was only a 3-year pact with the New York Mets. Let's see. There's some more stuff to talk about here, actually. Some more Mets stuff to talk about. And this one is pertaining to Dom Smith, unfortunately. Dom Smith has gone from Mets first round draft pick to intriguing prospect to disappointment. And now his time with the Mets is coming to an end. The team planned to non-tender him before the Friday night deadline. The Post John Heyman confirmed. Smith, age 27, will be a free agent after consecutive rough seasons in Queens. It has been quite a downfall for Smith, who was the Mets' first round pick, 11th overall in 2013, the same draft in which Aaron Judge went to the Yankees at number 32. Hang on a second. Hang on a minute here. Shout outs to It's a Hard Knock Life podcast for viewing this. Thank you very much. Smith made his MLB debut at 22 and showed signs of developing into a threat at the plate in 2019 when he had an OPS of 890.891 in 197 plate appearances. He was even better in the COVID short end 2020 season with an OPS of .993 in 50 games, good enough to finish 13th in the NL MVP voting. But Smith failed to follow up those years with much success. With Pete Alonso at first base, Smith didn't have a natural position and didn't hit well enough as a DH. A partially torn labrum in his shoulder impacted Smith's effectiveness in 2021 when he was among the biggest disappointments on the team as his power plummeted. Things only got worse this past season. He opened the year platooning at DH with JD Davis, who got traded, of course, and was eventually demoted to Triple A Syracuse. Smith had 2 years of arbitration left, and the decision to move on from him seemed likely when the Mets opted to pick up fellow lefty swinging Daniel Vogelback's $1.5 million option. Among the teams that may be interested in signing Smith are the Rays and Royals, according to the Post's Mike Puma. He is still young, hits left-handed, and has shown flashes before. The first base market is not particularly robust, especially after Anthony Rizzo signed to stay with the Yankees. Joining Smith on the free agent market are Jose Abreu, Josh Bell, Yuli Gurriel, and Trey Mancini with the Astros, and Padres perhaps looking for additions at the position as well. Per the Post, Joel Sherman, the Mets plan to tender their other arbitration eligible players: Pete Alonso, Luis Guillorme, Joey Lachesi, Jeff McNeil, Tomas Nido, and Drew Smith. And now, Mets hired Eric Jagers. Um, Eric Jagers' strong background in biomechanics, and movement science stood out as the Mets considered him for a top development position. The 27-year-old Jaggers, who spent the last 2 seasons as Reds assistant pitching coach, has joined the Mets as their director of pitching development. General manager Billy Epler said Tuesday at the GM meetings. Jaggers will oversee the Mets minor league pitchers, working in conjunction with the major league pitching coach Jeremy Hefner. Before his Reds stint, Jaggers worked for Driveline Baseball, a performance center that uses research and events data to help players. What we're trying to do, regardless of this hire or any hire, is really serve the players, Epler said. You just want to be able to answer every question. So if a player has questions, you want to have them talk to somebody from a technical expertise and maybe from a psychological expertise. If we can really have that diversity of thought, we should be able to serve the players for what they need. Hefner had a large say in hiring Jaggers, according to Epler. Hefner actually went through all the interviews for all the candidates. Epler said, "We're really happy to get Eric on board and watch him kind of implement his vision and give him all the tools and latitude and the synchronicity. No, hold on. The synchronicity. Um, he had with Jeremy Hefner was a major factor in him getting this job. Yankees general manager Brian Cashman, who could be in the market for a closer, was asked about his surprise level that the Mets completed a deal so quickly with Edwin Diaz, who agreed to a 5-year contract worth $102 million before hitting free agency. I made the assumption all year long they were going to retain their guy. But you never know, Cashman said. He had a hell of a year, an amazing season that he put together, and that trumpet is pretty awesome too. Epler won't discuss the Diaz deal until it becomes official. Diaz was expected to take a physical on Tuesday. Epler acted quickly to fill many of the Mets' needs last offseason with a lockout looming, but realizes he could be in store for a marathon this winter. If anybody wants to turn this into an NBA free agency or an NFL agency, I am all for it, Epler said. Let's see. let's see. Okay, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Baty. Let's get into that. Um, New York Mets prospects Francisco Alvarez and Brett Baty have been named to minor league baseball's Double A All-Star team for 2022. Minor League Baseball revealed its end of season award winners and all-star teams earlier today, covering all three Double A circuits. The winners and all-star teams are based on votes cast by managers throughout minor league baseball. It should come as no surprise that Alvarez and Baty were honored. Alvarez was voted in as the catcher, and Baty made the all-star team as the third baseman. Mets prospect Mark Vientos was previously named an all-star in AAA. Both Alvarez and Baty absolutely raked the minors in 2022, cementing their status as blue chip prospects and ultimately fast tracking their respective path to the majors. Both players made their major league debut for the Mets in the latter stages of the 2022 season. Alvarez enjoyed such a stellar year that he propelled himself to the top of the pile as the number one overall prospect in all of baseball, while establishing himself as the catcher of the future for the Mets. The Phenom slugger hit 277, point 368, point 553, point 922 for double A Binghamton to go along with 18 home runs, 16 doubles, 36 walks, and 47 RBIs. He hit at a high level at Triple A Syracuse before playing in 5 games for the Mets at the end of the year. The catcher hit one home run, one double, and one RBI in 14 appearances in the Bigs. And his inclusion as catcher in the 2022 Double A All-Star team caps off what was a special and defining year for the power hitter who could become an everyday catcher in the majors in 2023. Like his fellow, highly regarded prospect Baty also put together a remarkable 2022 where his ability to hit really stole the headlines. The lefty bat went on an absolute tear for Double A Binghamton, slashing 3.312, 406, 544.950 with 106 hits, 19 home runs, 22 doubles, 46 walks, and 59 RBIs. The 18 overall ranked prospect in baseball translated his hitting ability to AAA before being called up to the majors, where he hit a home run in his first career at bat. Baty hit .184, .244, .342, .586 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs in 42 plate appearances for the Mets. While he struggled in the field and at the plate at times, the 22-year-old still projects to be a very productive everyday player at the major league level sooner rather than later. All right. All right. What's this about? Hold on a second. All right. So let's see. In other Mets news, Mets reliever, they required Brooks Raley from the Rays. The Mets have acquired left-handed relief pitcher Brooks Raley from the Tampa Bay Rays for minor league pitcher Keyshawn Askew. In 53.2 innings across 60 appearances last season, the 34-year-old southpaw posted a 2.68 ERA and 0.969 WHIP to go with an impressive 33% strikeout rate. Left-handed batters also hit just 1.155 against him. It was the best season of the journeyman's career, which included stops in Chicago Cubs, Houston Astros, and Cincinnati Reds organizations, as well as Korea. He will likely be the front runner to replace Joely Rodriguez, the left-handed reliever who signed with the Boston Red Sox this offseason after hitting the free agent market. That means high leverage, late inning situations include against the opposition's best left-handed batters are likely in the cards for Raley. Interesting. And also in Mets news, they also signed Jose Quintana. Yes, so as the Mets await a potential larger splash for the rotation, a veteran left-handed pitcher has joined the mix. The club agreed to terms with Jose Quintana on Wednesday on a 2-year contract worth $26 million, according to the industry sources. Quintana, age 33, was the second starting pitcher landed by the Mets at the winter meetings, joining Justin Verlander, the rotation replacement for Jacob DeGrom. Still on the docket is the possibility of Kadai Senga, a Japanese ace who would slot in behind Max Scherzer and Verlander in rotation. The Mets are among a handful of teams showing serious interest in Senga. Quintana, a native of Colombia, spent last season with the Pirates and Cardinals and pitched to a 2.93 ERA in 32 starts combined for the two teams. The lefty doesn't possess a big fastball, but excels in getting batters to chase pitches, and the average exit velocity of 86.5 miles per hour against him ranked in the 89th percentile among MLB pitchers last season, according to StatCast. In 165 two-third innings, he struck out 154 and walked 47. Quintana began his major league career with the White Sox and has since pitched for the Cubs, Angels, and Giants. In addition to his two teams last season, his professional career began with the Mets, who signed him as a free agent in 2006 and assigned him to the rookie level Venezuelan Summer League. Quintana also pitched in the minor leagues for the Yankees. Quintana gives the Mets a back end of the rotation arm to join Carlos Cookie Carrasco, whose $14 million option for next season was picked up last month by the club. However, the Mets could look to trade Carrasco if another starter is acquired. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. The team's rotation depth includes David Peterson and Tyler McGill, along with Joey Lucchesi, who missed last season rehabbing from Tommy John surgery. But there is still a void in the middle of the rotation the Mets could address with Senga, if not by pivoting toward options such as Russ Stripling and Chris Bassett. Other starters with whom the Mets were involved at the winter meetings, most notably Jameson Talon and Andrew Heaney, came off the board. Talon, the former Yankee, received a 4-year deal worth $68 million from the Cubs. The lefty Heaney received a 2-year deal from the Rangers that could be worth as much as $37 million with incentives. Another potential option, Tijuan Walker, who pitched the last two seasons for the Mets, received a 4-year contract worth $72 million from the Phillies. The rotation has remained a focal point for the Mets following Jacob DeGrom's departure to Texas last week on a 5-year contract worth $185 million. It's a deal that included a 6-year option that could push the value to $222 million. Tijuan Walker also left in free agency, agreeing to a 4-year, $72 million deal with the Phillies. The Mets instead took the money they were offering DeGrom, cost roughly $110 million over the 3 years, and slotted it toward the 39-year-old Verlander. The Mets reached agreement Monday on a 2-year deal with Verlander, last season's American League Cy Young award winner, worth $86.6 million. The contract includes a 3rd-year option for an additional $35 million. Carlos Rodon was also on the Mets' radar before the winter meetings, but the team is less likely to pursue him given the price tag and the fact that the left-hander received a qualifying offer. If the Mets sign Rodon, they would forfeit their 2nd and 5th round picks in next year's draft. With the rotation coming into focus, the Mets could next look towards center field and possibly of re-signing Brandon Nimmo, which I will talk about in a future episode, who met with suitors at the winter meetings. The Mets have remained in contact with Nimmo's camp, but did not meet with him this week. Let's see what else we got to talk about. Here in regards to the Mets. Oh boy. So let's see. Regarding the Mets, let's see. Yeah, I already talked about that. Let's see. Yes, so the Mets were wise. Of course, obviously, the New York Mets saw one of their own free agents signed with a division rival on Tuesday night. Starting pitcher Tijuan Walker signed a 4-year, $72 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan, in what is a shakeup in the free agent starting pitching market. But initial reaction around Twitter is that the Phillies came across as desperate for starting pitching, and the Mets were wise not to show him the money. For what it's worth, MLB trade rumors, of course, rumors in the air predicted Walker would get a 4-year, $52 million contract. So Walker got $20 million more than predicted, which not only signals that the starting pitching market is thin, but teams that are going all in are willing to overpay to get the help they need. The first thing I rushed to on the web upon Jeff Passan's announcing this signing was his baseball savant rankings from his 2 seasons as a Met. And yikes was my reaction with respect to the $18 million per season he's getting from Philadelphia. The Mets should be thankful that he was more lucky than good in his 2 seasons in Flushing, especially last year. He finished at the 28th percentile in average exit velocity, 26th percentile in hard hit percentage, and 30th percentile in whiff rate. Walker's normal numbers were better last season in Flushing, um, 12-5 record, 3.49 ERA, 111 ERA plus, 2.93 strikeout to walk ratio than in 2021, where he appeared to lose confidence in the second half of the season and struggled to a 4.47 ERA, a 90 error plus, and a 7-11 record. The key to his success last year was limiting the damage and getting out of jams. He held his opposition to a .143 batting average, 7 for 49 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position in 2022. These numbers are difficult to carry over from one season to the next. The Mets made a similar smart call last season, not re-signing Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman was a dependable, reliable number 2 starter for the Mets for much of the 2021 season, pitching to a 3.02 ERA and a 133 ERA plus in that campaign. But he signed a 3-year, $71 million deal with the Chicago Cubs last winter. Many considered that an overpay, given that analytics didn't support such an investment. It wasn't until the Cubs fell out of playoff contention after the All-Star break that Stroman settled in and pitched well with the Cubs. So this is another sign that the new look Mets front office is only willing to invest in premium talent, and analytics supported it like they did with Max Scherzer last winter and Justin Verlander this week. And the win now model, while retooling the farm system, is a good strategy, even though the Mets season ended earlier than anyone anticipated. Yeah. And let's see. So Max Scherzer's potential opt out. So hold on a second. Let me see if I covered everything before I go on. Let's see if I cover. Yeah. Yeah, I already told about that. So yeah, there is going to be. All right, so now that Jacob DeGrom has used his opt out to escape New York, let's flash forward 11 months when the Mets probably will be facing the same situation with Max Scherzer. If your first instinct is to think, why deal with that now when the DeGrom pain is still fresh for the franchise and its fan base? Then know this is a current issue for the Mets, unless they would like to make reconstructing a rotation as annual as tradition as, say, Thanksgiving. Scherzer can opt out. Carlos Cookie Carrasco is a free agent after 2023 season. Both McGill and David Peterson are still trying to prove they are legit, at least back end starters. The farm system might be closer to delivering some starting pitching in 2024, but it is no certainty. Thus, the Mets are heading towards a scenario that looks very much like this one. Uh, Reassembling an entire pitching staff, noting no notably a rotation in which DeGrom, Chris Bassett, Tijuan Walker, and even Trevor Williams were or are free agents. So as the Mets pursue starting pitching this offseason, they must emphasize more than just 2023. I think they should be all in on Justin Verlander. Might that mean a 2-year, even $90 million contract? Maybe. Perhaps it will take 3 years and Verlander turns 40 in February. But he is coming off an AL Cy Young season. And quite frankly, I think he is a better bet for 2 or 3 years than DeGrom, or 5 and Carlos Rondon for at least 5. He has, along with Scherzer and Garrett Cole, that obsessive pitching gene to keep learning and evolving and reshaping his pitches and repertoire I never sensed. For example, that DeGrom has close to that same burning passion for the craft, and it makes me wonder about his adaptation as he ages further. Verlander would continue to give the Mets a dynamic one-two punch at top the rotation with Scherzer, obviously with a lot of age risk, and also provide with health a 2024 ace if Scherzer does opt out and leave. And if he finishes upright in 2023, Scherzer will opt out. He does not want to exit New York with the fervor of DeGrom, I sense. In fact, that Scherzer likes the day-to-day urgency of the place. But he does want the top of the market like DeGrom just got. There was no more strident player during collective bargaining negotiations than Scherzer. None who wants to see what a true unfettered market would bring players. And if Verlander is going to at least threaten to top Scherzer's record annual value of $43.3 million entering his age 40 season, then a healthy Scherzer completing his age 38 season in 2023 will either move Steve Cohen to extend him or go out into free agency to chase the upper end of the market for the third time his career. The thing is that even if the Mets say pay just Scherzer and Verlander $80 million plus in 2023, they still have to invest even more into the rotation and not just for 2023. In part, that is about not having strong internal options. McGill, Peterson, Sir Hernandez, and Joey Lucchesi are controlled beyond 2023. But there is even a sure 150 inning starter in that group, much less 2 or 3. According to MLB.com, the Mets' top 7 prospects are all position players, and the site does not expect the arrival of their top 3 pitching prospects, Blake Tidwell, Calvin Ziegler, and Matt Allen, before 2025. So the Mets have to find innings in the market for 2023 and beyond. The player who probably projects best to that is Bassett. But word is that the righty who turns 34 in February also is looking for 5 years. As one pitching interested executive said of Bassett, because of his age, he knows this is his one shot to maximize his dollars. So does asking for 5 years lead to Bassett getting 4? Do the Mets push to do that? Because even with the poor ending in 2022, the righty was their most reliable starter. Do the Mets try to retain Tijuan Walker, flip Jameson Talon to the other side of the RFK bridge? Push hard for Japanese star Kadai Senga, reunite Andrew Heaney with his one-time Angels GM Billy Epler, try to play the upside with Ross Stripling, or perhaps even go for Noah Syndergaard too. There also is the trade market. Would Miami keep Pablo Lopez in the NL East? Miami appears open to discussing any starter not named NL Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara. Seattle's Marco Gonzalez and Oakland's Cole Irvin are lefties who eat innings, but lack the strikeout panache that Epler favors. Would a reclamation project with strikeout stuff such as Toronto's Yusei Kikuchi be intriguing with the downside, perhaps as a swing and miss lefty reliever? Shit. Cleveland is open to its rotation back and of Aaron Savell and Zach Plesac. Before even getting to a bullpen that also needs a lot of refurbishing behind the re-signed Edwin Diaz, the Mets need minimum to add 2 more starters this offseason, perhaps 3. And considering what they face after the coming year, the Mets need to max effort to add starters that can help beyond 2023. All right, let's see if we covered all the bases today in this episode. Want to make sure that want to make sure actually. So okay. Okay, so we covered the bases in today's episode. I do appreciate every single one of you who actually listened to this episode. Who listened to this episode actually. So without further ado, we're gonna go to the last segment of the night. The last segment of the night is stream choices on the go. Let's go. Yes, you know what to do, folks. For those of you that's into sports and stuff like that, you like what you heard in today's sports topics of today's episode 43, titled "New York Mets got their pieces back." Yeah. So, let's get into it. So make sure you follow Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on Instagram, which is what TLKS stands for. Um, and also follow my review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, and also my number one show with 214 episodes, Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast, on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, be sure to follow your homie right here, G Money Stacks, in 555 in Queens, New York. Yes, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York is where you can follow me on the primary handle. And make sure you turn on your notifications for details and updates on when each episode is going to be dropping. And of course, be sure to tune into the Instagram live feed on the podcast show page, is where I'm going to be doing my Instagram live feeds for each episode whatsoever. That's the only time I'm doing Instagram lives. So that's the only time I do that. So without further ado, listen, be sure to go to the link in bio on the gram that says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, of course. And be sure to follow on every streaming platform. Make sure you subscribe to all the streaming platforms whatsoever. And you can leave a voice message on anchor.fm/gmoneystacks 0/message. All right. And speaking of Anchor, let's go into it. So we are on Anchor FM, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, and make sure don't forget to listen to the episodes of the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on Radio Public, alongside with iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. You don't need a credit card or debit card to actually download iHeartRadio or any other apps whatsoever. It's all free in your app stores. Of course, you can download it to your iPhones, your Androids, iPads, and your Android tablets. And And make sure, and also plus follow my other two podcast shows that I'm also on iHeartRadio, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show with 101 episodes. I am going to post episode 101 after I get off the air. And of course, be sure to follow Off the Meat Rat Chain's New York podcast, also on iHeartRadio as well. And of course, make sure you grab that subscribe button on the YouTube channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Click on the noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream, alongside with leaving a like and a comment along with the sports topics that's being discussed. And more for your content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Download these episodes, share the episodes, share the videos. Make sure you stream, listen, watch the episodes. Of course, be sure to tell a friend to another friend. Spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, be sure plus be sure to share the podcast along with the link that says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, your friends, the people you're cool with that's also into sports and stuff. And yes, like I always say at the end of the show, be sure to know that the grind doesn't stop. So remember this. And also, New York wasn't built in a day. If you want something, you have to work hard and you have to earn it. And also, and be sure to find something that clicks to you with a spark, that makes you happy and makes you smile creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. That's going to wrap up for me right here. I'm your man, G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening and tuning in and rocking with me on episode 43 titled New York Mets Got Their Pieces Back. And of course, there's going to be more new sports topics. Of course, coming up next time, and the upcoming episode 45 is where I actually going to go over Brandon Nimble returns to the Mets, and all that other stuff. So I appreciate every single one of you who listened, who actually tuned in, and also let me go over I want to go over something actually, because this is pertaining to Spotify Wrapped. I want to actually get to this, so let's get to it right now actually. So we're going to get to it right now actually. I like to thank Spotify for making this for me. So for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about here, every year when it comes to podcasters, there's always a little something like a video or whatever, like a presentation in terms of how many episodes or whatever. So let me just get to it right now. So of course, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the sports edition show, of course, 29 episodes, 2.8K minutes, 2 countries. And so far, created two Q&As. What are excellent fun vibrant talks podcast sports edition listeners like exactly? And this is the answer is the adventurer, listener's personality. Your listeners venture out into the unknown, searching for fresher podcasts and gems yet to be found. And of course, and of course, episode 5, New York Mets got their infielders back. And it is 100% more streams than your average episode. And your podcast loves to travel. Your top country was United States. And um, so far, we created 2,846 minutes of new content. That's more than 91% of other creators in the sports category. So I want to give myself a round of applause for the accomplishments that I actually did in this episode and in this podcast and other podcast shows. So I would like to say thank you to Spotify Wrapped and alongside with Anchor and everybody else who actually put this together. I appreciate you. Let me just give my let's make some noise, man, for Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, and Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast that also made it to Spotify Rap 2022. Um, so let's get it, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. This really means a lot to me, man. Y'all could have been anywhere in the whole world to listen to other people's podcasts, but y'all chose to listen to the sports podcast platform right here, alongside with my other podcast shows that I just mentioned, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show, and of course, Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast, along with the episodes that was created. I love y'all for all this, and I hope we can continue more to do this. Thank you so much to Spotify and Anchor for creating this whatsoever. I do appreciate them for doing this. They didn't give up on me. And a lot of you out there, just the people out there who listened and stuff like that, didn't give up on me. Regardless of whatever views it is or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it takes time to grow your stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It really takes time. So like so you know, I'm gonna keep the good work, man, and I'm gonna keep going because I like to say to my sister who believed in my career in podcasting, she didn't give up on me. She knew I was going to be consistent. It's a consistency thing, man, and alongside with confidence, and I really appreciate that. So this one is a shout out to my sister Mimi, and along with other people. Thank you very much for believing in me when no one else would. So thank you so much, and thank you out there for tuning in to this show right here in sports and other shows that I do. So I really appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Peace and one love. And I'll be back with the next episode and the episode after that involving Brandon Nimmo returning to the Mets, which I'm happy for. We'll break that down in episode 45. And of course, stay tuned for the next topics in episode 44 and 45. So don't go anywhere. Peace and one love, and have yourselves a good night, folks. Peace out. Thank you very much for Spotify. One love. Good night.